Hey, good morning, everyone. We are live this morning at Shady Grove Farm in Gwinn. We are getting ready to immerse ourselves in everything that's happening here ahead of some Wim Hof workshops. We're going to learn exactly what the Wim Hof method is. And Tia, we're actually going to be plunging ourselves into Johnson Lake right outside there on this very snowy and chilly morning.
I know, I see the circle cut out of the
Yes.
ice in there. I'm getting a little bit nervous. This isn't something that I've ever done in my life before. Actually, one time about 10 years ago when the Polar Plunge Challenge was going around social media, I jumped in Lake Superior, but that was an immediate get out, run back into the car, drive off. There was no method to the madness here, and certainly no, like, benefits I think I was getting from that.
Yeah, so today our goal is to learn the breath work, learn the benefits, and then spend 2 minutes in the lake here at Shady Grove Farm. So we are sitting very comfortably on the couch here with Tim Mann. He is a peak performance coach, a certified Wim Hof method instructor. Any other titles that I left out?
Licensed professional counselor.
Okay, there we go.
Published researcher now too.
Oh, yeah, published. So we are super excited to have him here with us. I did a workshop with you last year, almost a year ago from today, and I really enjoyed the entire thing. I actually came out here with no intention of ever going in the lake because that's crazy.
Yeah.
And after going through your workshop and learning the benefits and just actually being around the supportive community that is provided in the workshop, I did spend 2 minutes in the water, and it was amazing. So let's start at the beginning. How did you yourself come upon the Wim Hof method and cold water plunging?
How did I come across it? You know, things happened in my life that kind of prepared me perfectly for when I did hear about it. That just put everything into alignment and had me go become an instructor. So part of the method is growth mindset, breath work, and cold water immersion. The mindset, learned from my dad. He's got multiple sclerosis, struggles to do basic life functioning, but he's still got this very resilient and positive attitude towards life. So I was picking up on that growth mindset from him. Breath work, experience when I went down to Mexico for a month-long sea kayaking trip. I was trained to become an instructor and just became very in tune with my breathing. And the third thing was cold exposure. My whole family's actually from the Marquette area. My great-grandpa was a sheriff here in town, Mr. Trito, and my grandpa Howard Trito lived here and raised his family here. Anyway, I came up to Northern Michigan University to go to school and was getting habituated to the cold exposure that way. And those three things are what constitutes the Wim Hof method. And what happened, I was working in Detroit Public Schools, and I was driving my car home one evening, got a flat tire, pulled over on the side of the highway, and as I pulled over onto the shoulder, I was smashed from behind by a drunk driver going 80 miles an hour, who ultimately fled the scene of the accident and left me there. I snapped my left arm in half, fractured my right ankle, tore my medial meniscus, fractured 5 vertebrae, dislocated my jaw, lacerated my liver, and fractured my skull in multiple places. Was rushed to the ICU, where they had to perform emergency brain surgery. I had all this intracranial hypertension, so my brain was swelling up like a balloon. They had to drill a hole into my head to relieve the pressure to save my life. Thank God for technology and modern medicine. That, I left there with PTSD and an emergent mood disorder, addicted to pain medication, was not doing good. One day after I got discharged from the hospital, months later, and was at home going through rehab, I came across Wim Hof on the Joe Rogan podcast. God bless both those men. And started talking about how he has scientific evidence of how to influence the autonomic nervous system. And this had been something I've been obsessed with for a very long time. After learning about the breath and that month-long trip immersed in nature. And I just fell in love with that method. I couldn't take a cold shower at that time, but I could breathe. So I started doing rounds upon rounds of that breath work. And it helped me gain control of my mood, helped me process my emotions, and really make sense of what had happened to me. I was no longer bitter and resentful towards what had happened, and figured out how to use that terrible accident as fuel to make something better.
So the Wim Hof method combines a growth mindset, cold water immersion, and breathing techniques. You're actually involved in some research about this, and even just based on your experience of teaching other people, it seems like when they come to the workshop, when they hear about it, when they learn these breathing techniques, they're more often than not ready to dive into that water. And now there's all this research coming out you're a part of. How is that playing into the popularity of the Wim Hof method in cold water immersions?
Well, it's certainly, all this research being done is certainly bringing more information to science and helping the general population understand more about all these benefits. It's fantastic and really giving a lot of turbulence to my workshops and other workshops going on all over the globe.
So let's dive into a little bit more about how it works. The automatonic, is that the right word? Autonomic nervous system. What is that? Why do we care how it functions, and how does all of this play into that?
Yeah, so your brain stem is, right below your limbic system is your brain stem, and that's autonomic. It's basic life functioning, controls your breathing, your heart rate, swallowing, all, your basic life functioning. And for a long time, we didn't think that we could influence that deep part of the brain at will. But since Wim Hof brought this method to science, it's been demonstrated time and time again that we have the ability to tap into that deeper part of the brain and influence not only our brain stem and the periaqueductal gray area, but also our innate immune response.
All right, well, we're going to talk much more about this. And, you explained it kind of last time as a cardio exercise for your cardiovascular system. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit and talk about what exactly is going to happen when we get in that water, T. I know you want to understand exactly what your body's going through. So we're going to take a quick break and learn a little bit more about what we're gearing up for here this morning. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to Upper Michigan Today. We're back with Tim Mann, a certified Wim Hof instructor. We're here at Shady Grove Farm in Gwynn. We're getting ready to dive into the benefits of cold water immersion. Still a little bit nervous about that, but now we're talking about the Wim Hof method itself and what exactly it does to your body. So you kind of shared a personal story in the last segment, Tim, about how really this Wim Hof method in cold water immersion really kind of turned your life around, saved it in a way. What exactly is the goal of the Wim Hof method, and what's happening underneath the skin?
The goal of the Wim Hof method is to help you become even stronger, happier, and healthier. Mm-hmm. What's going on underneath the skin? When you get in that cold water, you have vasoconstriction through 80,000 some miles of veins, arteries, and capillaries in your body. In fact, if you unravel them all, it would wrap around the earth 2.5 times. That's pretty cool how much cardiovascular network is within you. But when you get in that cold water, most of those veins, arteries, and capillaries are having vasoconstriction. They're closing down. And then you get out and you warm back up and you get vasodilation, which just means that those are all opening up. You got all these little muscles that lace your cardiovascular system, and they get stronger. And so then if you consistently do cold exposure every day, it actually drops your resting heart rate. So your heart has to do less work because the rest of your system is stronger. So that's really cool. What else happens when you get in cold water? You get a huge boost of dopamine and noradrenaline, and those affect your motivation and mood. So it's a great natural mood enhancer and gives you a ton of energy.
Yeah, you told me that this will help me handle stressful situations better.
Yes. There's a part of the brain, oh man, it's the anterior cingulate mid-cortex. I might have said that wrong, but there's a part of the brain when people do difficult things that are challenging, it actually grows bigger, and then it makes other areas of life easier to handle. You strengthen your stress response.
So I have to mention, when I did this story last time, I got a pretty big response from people who are from the Upper Peninsula that have been jumping in icy waters their entire life. I mean, this is kind of a tradition of the Upper Peninsula, whether they were doing it just because that's what their parents did, their friends did.
Or social media trends.
Exactly. But it's new. It's new in the sense that we're learning just exactly what happens. It's not a new tradition up here, but it's certainly, there's more being developed, more being understood about what happens when somebody jumps in.
Yeah, no doubt. People have been doing this for thousands of years. And now that science progresses, we just keep doing more and more studies and figuring out exactly what's going on, and it's just all really great stuff.
Something I also wondered after, how often do you, so we're going to do it once today. Do we have to do it every day for the next 6 months to continue to experience, or how often do you recommend somebody actually cold plunging or taking a cold shower even, and can you just like sit in the snowbank? Is it the same?
Yeah, I don't want to really recommend anything for anybody. For me personally, I do it first thing when I wake up every morning before I put the coffee on. I just go jump in the tub outside on the deck because I just notice how much better my day goes. But I would just encourage people to listen to their bodies and figure out what works for them and use the method how they see fit.
Can you sit in the snowbank?
Sit in something, no.
Okay, not the same?
Not the same.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, well, I mean, is there anybody that this isn't for? I mean, are there any medical conditions that people might have to look out for when it comes to this?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. People with a severe underlying heart condition will want to check with their doctor. People with high blood pressure will want to check with their doctor. For the breath work, there's other contraindications that you should be aware of too. Practicing Wim Hof method breath work, you want to make sure that you're not epileptic. If you are, check with your doctor. And if you're pregnant, we don't have any research about cold plunging or breath work, the Wim Hof method breath work when you're pregnant, so definitely check with your doctor.
Anything Tia and I need to be aware of today? I mean, she's a 20-something, I'm a 40-something. We're in completely different stages of our lives. Okay for us to go do this together, and anything that we would just need to be aware of?
You know, I think you guys are both strong, happy, and healthy as you are, and I've known that you've done this before, so I think you're good to go. And as long as you're not pregnant or have a serious underlying heart condition, Tia.
I don't think either of those things, so I think I should be good.
So we have no out, Tia.
Shoot. Oh, maybe I am pregnant. I gotta call my mom. Just kidding.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what actually happens at a workshop. Start going through the process. We have some breath work to learn. We have some preparation to make. We're not just gonna all of a sudden go jump in the lake. We want to prepare our minds and our body and get in the right state of being. So we're gonna take a quick break and start that process when we come back.
Hey, welcome back to Upper Michigan Today, live at Shady Grove Farm in Gwinn. We're here with Tim Mann, a certified Wim Hof instructor. Now, if you're watching and you're inspired to go outside, go jump in a lake, whatever, there are some things that you should keep in mind, some safety precautions, and some mental preparations too. And that's a big part of the workshops that you offer, setting people up for success so that they're not just diving into the water without really knowing what's going on. Now, there are a couple of workshops coming up this weekend, but they're already sold out, which just proves that people are so interested in doing this around here. Do you have any other opportunities coming up?
We do. Not on the schedule right now up here in the UP, but we will have more workshops up here at Shady Grove Farm UP. Coming up, got one in Detroit on the 19th at Ramp Athletics, another one at Interverse Studios on the 27th, some at Yen Yoga and Fitness in Traverse City coming up in February, another one at Troy City Fitness in February, so quite a few workshops on the horizon.
So what happens in a workshop? I hear they're 5 hours long. I can't imagine you're in the water that whole time.
No, so people come in and we have a nice meet and greet session. We get to know each other. We do some introductions. Then we play some games, just kind of some icebreakers. Mm-hmm. Then we go into a presentation all about the science behind the method, talk about growth mindset and breath work, cold water immersion, all the science behind it. And then we dive right into breath work.
So we're going to give our viewers just a kind of a snapshot of a workshop today. So obviously we can't take you through an entire workshop. As Tia just said, they're 5 hours long. So talk us through the first points and the things that we need to be aware of before we go into the next segment, which will be an actual breath work session.
So, say that again.
What are the big points that we say? What are the things that we need to take away from the workshop? If we were to do the workshop, give us the 5 pointers without us having attended the whole workshop before we go into the breath work. What do we need to know before we lay down and actually go through that session with you?
Well, you need to know about how to set your mind, right? Because this is going to be something difficult. So you want to make sure that you're going at it with a strong, positive mindset. You want to make sure that you prep your body first with breath work, because that actually, Wim Hof method breath work I talk about for hours. One thing I'll say very quickly is when you practice this breath work, you actually deactivate pain receptors in your brainstem, which modulate your pain threshold. So you get a huge adrenaline rush, and adrenaline makes you strong. And so it's great to do the breath work before you go into the cold water. It makes it easier.
So that's why you do the breath work with the cold water immersion.
Yes, and there's so much more than that. There's a lot of other reasons why breath work is good for you, but that's a big one.
And that's why you should attend the workshop to get some of those other nuggets. But for the purposes of today, we're going to go through just a mini breathwork session with you. And what are we going to be doing? What's happening when we do that?
Okay, the fancy name for this is cyclical hyperventilation, but how it works is you start with 30 big, deep breaths, really using your diaphragm, drawing oxygen down deep into your stomach, and then filling up your chest. Nice full breath each time, offloading a ton of CO2. And then you go into a breath hold after those 30 deep breaths. And then you hold your breath. After you're done holding your breath, you take a big inhale in, again, deep into the belly, then filling up the chest. Hold it for 15 seconds, let it go. And that's one round. We're going to do 3 or 4 rounds of those in a workshop and really get a lot of adrenaline. You get more adrenaline doing this breath work than somebody who is actually bungee jumping for the first time.
Wow. I did not realize that.
I'm really excited to get into this. Tim, what do you have to say to the people that are thinking, no way, you're crazy, I'm not getting in the cold water, I prefer my heat. I might be one of those people. What do you have to say to people like that?
Say you're stronger than you think and you got it in you and you deserve it. If you're looking out for your future self and you want a strong cardiovascular system, it is so worth the 2 minutes of pain or suffering.
Pain or suffering to you.
Yeah, don't be scared of a little bit of pain. Pleasure's on the other side, and it's so worth it. You want to look out for your future self and be strong, happy, and healthy. And one of the leading killers for people globally is cardiovascular-related diseases. And this is a nice, low-cost and accessible tool that almost everyone on the planet can use, just cold water, to really get a strong system.
All right, well, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll go through some of the breath work. Of course, this will be a very modified version from the workshop, but we want to show you just a little bit about what you can expect, and so you can understand if it's something that maybe you want to try the next time you hold some workshops up here. So stick around, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Upper Michigan Today. We are live this morning at Shady Grove Farm in Gwinn. We are doing a modified version of a Wim Hof method workshop. There are a couple coming up this weekend. They are sold out, but if this is something that interests you and you want to try it for yourself, be sure to follow Train the Brain LLC or Tim Mann because he's always coming up here doing new workshops and doing them right here at Shady Grove. So we've talked about the method. We've talked about the cold immersion. We've talked about the benefits. We've talked about what happens inside the body. Now we're going to show you a little bit of the breath work and what it looks like. So I'm going to put the microphone down. We're going to let Tim take over, and he's going to talk T and I through it. And when we're done, we'll go to a break and come back and talk about it.
Oh, I thought we were going to come back and be in the water.
It's not time yet.
Okay.
You have a little bit of time. So yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, Tim, take it away.
All right. So when you do this breath work, you want to train your diaphragm to work properly. A lot of people breathe from their chest, and that's got a direct correlation with anxiety. So if you want to help alleviate a lot of unnecessary anxiety, you can learn how to breathe with your diaphragm and draw oxygen down low into your belly. So if you place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest and just relax and breathe as you normally would, and just notice which hand is moving. Is it the hand on your stomach or the hand on your chest? If it's a hand on your stomach, then fantastic. If it's a hand on your chest, no worries, there's little tips and tricks to get you breathing more with your diaphragm. Diaphragm's a big muscle in the human body. It's a little dome shape, sits right underneath your ribs. When you breathe, you can feel it. If you draw oxygen in very slow through your nose, take a really exaggerated, long inhale. Your diaphragm should naturally bring that oxygen down deep when you do that and fill up your belly first and then your chest. So that's how we want to breathe when we're doing this breath work. Belly, and then chest. Nice full breath each time. Let's speed this up for purposes of the show. So what I want you to do is just take a nice deep breath fully in, fill up your belly and then your chest, and just lightly let it go. And then go right into the next one. Fully in, let it go. Just sigh out. Another one. Fully in, let it go. Good. Next one. Fully in. Let it go. And then just keep going. Maintain that rhythm and that pattern. Breathing nice and deep. Finishing each breath. Lightly letting go. Right into the next one. In an actual breathwork session, you would do about 30 of these breaths and then go into your breath hold. So let's do a couple more deep breaths all the way in. Let it go. Fully in. Let it go. Last one. We'll go fully in, fill up the belly, then the chest. Lightly let it go. Don't exhale out all the way. Just lightly let it go and hold. And during this time, you just completely relax and fall into your body. During a normal breathwork session, you would hold your breath for as long as you could until you get that urge to breathe. And then whenever you get that urge to breathe, you would take a full inhale in. Let's go ahead and do that now. Go fully in, fill up the belly, then the chest, and hold it. You hold this position for 15 seconds. You might notice your heart rate start to increase during this time. After the 15 seconds is up, you let it go. And that's one round. And we do 3 to 4 rounds right in a row.
Did you fall asleep, Tia? No. All right, we're going to take another break and talk a little bit more about this when we come back.
Hey, thanks for sticking around on Upper Michigan Today, live at Shady Grove Farm in Gwin. We're back with Tim Mann, certified Wim Hof instructor. So we just went through a really abridged version of the breathing aspect of the workshop. And I mean, those breathing techniques, that's one of 3 main components of the Wim Hof method. And I mean, immediately, Elizabeth, I think you could probably testify to this too. After 3 minutes of controlled breathing like that, you feel a little bit more relaxed, in a bit of a state of calm, collectiveness. What happens when you do this consistently, regularly?
So when you do this a full 3 to 4 rounds, what happens is you offload a bunch of CO2 so you can hold your breath for way longer. And so it's pretty cool in workshops. We'll have people come not thinking that they can hold their breath for 2 minutes, but on that 4th round, a lot of them are breaking that 2-minute threshold. And that's always cool to see people's minds be blown after doing something like that. But also what it does is it changes the oxygen tension in your tissues. It helps elevate your mood. I heard the other day that 95% of human beings will not sprint after the age of 30. And so a lot of us are only using the top third of our lungs. So what this breath work does is it trains you to use all of your lungs. And that can have a cascade of health benefits for the long run.
I couldn't believe it when I did the workshop and I held my breath for 2 minutes. I was one of those people that came in here and I was like, no way. And then I was lying there and my brain was like, take a breath, it's time. But then my brain was also like, actually, my body was like, you don't need it yet.
I mean, that's
so weird.
That's how I feel, though. I think 2 minutes,
Yeah.
that's forever. I can't even hold my breath past 20 seconds. And I mean, I feel like it really is more of a mental thing. For example, when I'm swimming, when I'm underwater, after I get to a certain point, I'm like, I just need air. I need it. I need it to breathe, to live. But it's really like overcoming those mental barriers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it just popped in my head as you were talking, another great thing about this is you get into such a nice, deep state of relaxation when you practice this breath work. Mm-hmm. During those first 30 breaths, you're kind of activating the sympathetic response. But when you go into that breath hold, you fall so far down in your body, you get out of your head, you almost lose track of your spatial awareness, what's around. And it's just a lovely feeling.
So now, taking this practice into the cold water piece, we're not actually holding our breath for 2 minutes when we go in the water. No. What kind of breathing should we be doing and prepare us for the next step in this workshop?
Yeah, so do not get it confused. You do not want to practice this breath work in the water. In fact, people have, you can pass out from doing this breath work if you push yourself too hard. And people have actually died before in the water. So you don't want to do that breath work in the water. In the water, it's a different set of breath work. You just want to have long exhales. And that activates your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest part of your nervous system. So as long as your exhale is longer than your inhale, that's the ticket. And that's how you want to breathe in the water. It's going to help you relax in that stress.
Now, there's this part of the workshop. Sorry, did you have a
Oh,
question?
I was just going to say,
wanna
you
make
still,
sure-
you still want to be breathing through your diaphragm, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You
I
can
want to make sure
continue.
you're ready to go in the water
Yes.
because it's happening in the next segment, you guys. Okay, so during the workshop, there was this really powerful moment where we actually visualized ourselves in the water. So, talk us through that. I think we should do that. I think Tia should do that. So I'm going to give you the microphone, and you just take us through that, and we'll take that all the way to the next break, okay?
All right.
The visualization
Yeah.
session. Okay, let's do it.
Are we staying seated?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't even remember what we did, but.
Going to get in my meditative pose.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, you know, the mind is the most powerful thing on the planet. You, yourself, and your mind. Most powerful and most sophisticated, intelligent thing on the planet. And it can do amazing things. And the power of visualization plays a major role. So if you close your eyes, just take a nice deep breath and relax. And just imagine that you're walking out to that water. And you get out to that ice hole. And you dip your toe in, and it is freezing. You feel pins and needles going through your foot. You put your leg in, you feel pins and needles through your calf, but you keep going. You get your other leg in, and you slowly lower yourself down. At this point, your body is going through a cold shock response, and you're starting to breathe really deep. You're trying to relax into that stress. Remember that the mind masters the body, but the breath masters the mind. So your mind's yelling at you right now. What are you doing? Get me out of this water. Just focus on your breathing. Nice, long, slow exhales. Good, yes. At this point, you've been in there for about 10 to 20 seconds. You've taken control of your breath. You have nice, long, slow exhales, and you are relaxing and mastering that stress response. Now your body's adapted, and you're relaxed into that water. You might be having a conversation with a friend next to you. Now you're laughing, and before you know it, the 2 minutes is up. You hop out, and you start doing some exercise and warming yourself back up. You start doing some body weight squats or some horse stance, getting that blood back flowing out to your limbs and warming back up. And now you're nice and warm. You've exercised for a good 10, 15 minutes out in the cold, warmed yourself back up, and you did it. That was the mental visualization part. Now we got to do it for real.
Are you ready, Tia?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. We're gonna go to a break. You want to toss it to a break?
Yeah, let's go to a break.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Upper Michigan. Today we are being crazy girls here at Shady Grove Farm in Gwinn with Tim Mann, certified Wim Hof instructor. We're doing it. We're doing the cold water immersion ourselves. We're all ready for this, as ready as I'll ever be anyway. Elizabeth?
Tim, is it normal to come in? Okay, so we just did all that relaxing stuff, and now all of a sudden I don't feel very relaxed. My heart's kind of racing. I'm feeling a little nervous. Is that okay, and is that normal?
That is pretty normal,
Okay.
especially if you don't do this often. If you do it often, a lot of that anxiety will flitter away.
Sure. I'm looking at the ice. I don't even see a hole.
Did it freeze back over in the time that we were inside chatting with you?
You know, we're in the UP. It might have.
Okay, so what do you need to do anything to prepare?
You know, we can take this ice saw right here.
Okay, so he's going to take the ice saw, you guys. We're going to,
Okay, I'm not that. I am cold, but I'm not terribly
yeah,
cold
we'll just
for
wait,
being,
Tia. Just wait.
for having bare legs.
Okay, so you can see he's just carving out a little chunk of ice in the matter of the 2 hours that we've been here, Tia. That ice. Hey, Randy, what is the temperature of the lake in here?
That's probably right at 32.
32? Okay.
32?
We're going right in with that ice. Okay. Are you ready, Tia?
No.
Me either. Oh, okay.
Goodness gracious.
Do you need help?
Perhaps. I'm nervous about just walking on my bare feet in the
Well,
ice.
keep your shoes on as long as possible.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you're already shivering.
I know.
Okay. Oh, there's a thermometer. Okay. I'm gonna just leave. Should we leave our
Oh.
bathrobes here?
Yeah.
This is we didn't have this planned out very well, you guys. We stayed in the warmth as long as possible. So
Should we give this to Tim?
yeah. He's gonna take the microphone. And while we're in there, you can let our viewers know what we're experiencing, talk us through it, just like you would during the workshop.
All right, so when you get in there, remember, your mind is going to be yelling at you. What are you doing? Don't listen to that. Focus on your breathing.
Okay. Oh gosh, Tim.
I love the shirts, you guys. Love the shirts.
Yeah, if you didn't see it, he is cool. I'm cooler. We know I'm not cooler. That's why. Oh, you can't hear me. They can't hear me.
All right, go ahead and slip those shoes off.
This is gonna hold us when we go in.
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep. All right, so get the timer out. We want to hit the 2-minute mark is the goal. Whenever you guys are ready. You feeling good?
Okay, ready?
Ready as you'll ever be?
2, 1.
And slip right in there. It's a nice sandy bottom. Yeah, sit down right on the edge. And right down. And what you can do is you can keep your hands up nice and tight to your body. We lose a lot of heat through our hands. Another thing that you want to do is you want to get the shoulders all the way down into the water. Yes, you got this, Tia. Slip right down in there.
You can do it.
Yes, good job. Just breathe. Just breathe. Nice, long, slow exhales. And just relax. Good job. You're not, but you're getting there. You're getting there. You can do anything for 2 minutes. Look at that. You're killing it.
You're doing great.
Nice, long, slow exhales. Great job, Elizabeth. Good job, Tia. Just breathe. Just focus on your breathing. Good. And one breath right after the next. You can even count your breaths. See if you can get 10 good breaths. Nice, long, slow exhales. Good job. Fully in and nice, long, slow exhales. Elizabeth, you look pretty dang relaxed. See how long you can exhale for. See if you can exhale for 20 seconds. You're already well over a minute, and you've already released, you got already a 500% increase in noradrenaline, which is going to affect your mood for the rest of the day. You got over a 250% increase in dopamine, which is going to give you motivation and energy for the rest of the day. Just from this simple protocol. Good job.
How are you doing? You look miserable. Is that normal sometimes?
It's pretty dang normal for your first time. But you'll be amazed at how quickly your body adapts to something like this. If you did this every day for just 3 or 4 days, you'd have a totally different experience.
So she's not loving it, but she's still getting the benefits?
Absolutely.
I'm not that I'm loving it either, but...
She's actually getting the most benefit because it's more difficult for her right now.
Oh, Tia,
Yeah.
you're shining.
And that's 2 minutes. Great job. You did it. Time's up. Hop on out. Great job. Great job. Let's go. There's one.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and dry off.
Okay. We're gonna go to break, and we're gonna take a minute to recap, and then come back and talk about it. Okay. Welcome back to Upper Michigan today. We have one more segment here. We are live at Shady Grove Farm. You just saw us go into Johnson Lake right here in Gwinn. It's about 32 degrees today, the water, and Tia, we sat in it for 2 minutes. I honestly wasn't sure if you were going to do it. So talk us through what you were experiencing.
Oh,
I've done a lot of things with you. I've seen you react in a lot of different ways. That was a first for me. I've never seen you hesitate. But then you did it.
I did it.
Yep.
I feel like for me it was so much more of the mental barrier than it was the physical. Once I was in the water, once I was submerged, I actually felt kind of fine when I was breathing. I started to feel better. When we got out of the water and we were just in our little tank tops and we were doing the squats and stuff, I didn't even feel the cold air around me. Like, I felt good, but it was in that moment when I was climbing in, I forgot to visualize what I was doing earlier about going in, being calm. I went in with the oh no, this is gonna be terrible mindset.
Yeah.
And so
You looked like you were in pain.
I felt like I was in pain, not necessarily physical pain, but I think
a mental
pain. But you know, like you always say, it's so good to do hard things. I feel good now. Sorry about my minor freak out. I don't know if you heard or saw me panicking.
We all saw you too, just so you know. It was live on television. Tim, is this a normal response? Is this something that you're used to seeing? And again, talk us through what was actually happening with Tia.
It's definitely a normal response. I see it a lot. And this was such a sped up version. You know, if you would have came to a workshop, it would have been a totally different experience. You would have been with a full group of people doing it. You would have done a full 4 rounds of breath work beforehand. You would have got the preparation email a month ago that had you start taking cold showers every day. So your body would have been much more adapted and ready for that extreme form of cold exposure that we just did. It doesn't get any colder than that.
No, that was.
It doesn't get any colder than that.
Pretty intense. But did I do okay for my first time?
Can we scooch down a little to smoke, guys? Let's. There we go.
I
Okay,
hate
thank
white
you.
rabbit.
Whew.
Yes, given the circumstances, you did so good. Yeah.
You know, given the circumstances, I'd consider doing it again.
I
Really?
have to say, I've probably done it maybe 10 times now, right? And I was as afraid to do it today for some reason as I was the first time. It was much easier this time. It's been quite some time since I've done it, but I remember the first time I did it, it was the prickling of my feet that I could not get over. It hurt.
That was it for me.
It hurts
my
so
feet are
bad.
the only part of my body that I can feel right now.
But this time, it didn't hurt my feet at all. So does your body actually really, truly start to adapt?
Absolutely. Your body is designed to get stronger under stress. Yeah. Absolutely. Short-term acute stressors are so good for you, and that's exactly what cold water immersion is. People do get neoprene gloves and booties if they want to alleviate some of that pain in their hands and feet. That's fine. You're not missing out on anything if you do that. So if it is, really difficult for your hands and feet, you can always do that.
Now, I'm already warmed up, which is wild because we were just in ice water. But as soon as we got out of the water, there are some techniques to kind of get the blood moving again. So talk us through what you do when you get out of the water. You don't just stand and shiver.
Yeah, right. You want to get low and you want to activate your legs. And all the muscles in your legs are huge muscles in your body. It can help you generate heat. And so I like to do body weight squats. In the Wim Hof method, we teach the horse stance, which is just getting nice and low and moving back and forth, doing some Tai Chi type movements, and that helps warm your body back up.
And last time, also, a large group of the participants went and sat in the sauna. Wild. You sit in the cold and then you go in the hot. Is there some benefit to that as well?
Oh my goodness, that's the best. Doing rounds, going back and forth from the cold to the sauna. A study I just came across, gotta tell you, is a 20-year-long study in Finland shows that if you sauna 4 times per week for just 20 minutes around 180 degrees, that you reduce your all-cause mortality risk by over 40%. So any risk of stroke, heart attack, any cardiovascular-related issue gets significantly reduced just by going and sitting in the sauna. So it's pretty amazing.
Well, we all know that living in the Upper Peninsula, having a sauna is pretty common. We're sauna lovers, and now there's a good reason to be. I want to emphasize again a little bit about the safety, because we just went out on a lake in a hole. It could have not been great if we weren't doing it properly. We had you to instruct us, thank goodness. But if you're at home and you're watching and you're thinking, I'm going to go out on the lake and cut a hole, maybe not the best idea.
Yeah, you really want to be careful. So there's 3 big safety points that we can discuss and need to discuss. Number 1 is small, slow, gradual changes. You want to start with cold showers and slowly work your way up to ice baths and then go out into natural bodies of water. Very important, just like anything in life. Small, slow, gradual changes. The second thing is have a buddy with you. Hypothermia is a real threat. Drowning is a real threat. Always have a buddy with you. If you're cutting a hole like this out in a lake, it'd be best to have a rope with you as well in case somebody does fall through. Third thing is you lose feeling in your hands and feet like you both just experienced. So your feet and hands are the farthest away from your heart. That, your circulation gets lost in those areas first and foremost. And so you don't have the same feeling in those areas. So easy entry, easy exit. You don't want to climb over an ice shelf to get into the water and then have to climb back out. You don't have that same feeling. So make sure you have an easy entry, easy exit.
I can attest to that. I needed your hand just to get my foot in my shoe because I'm like, I don't know if I can feel my foot to get it in the shoe, and I didn't want to slip on the ice. So you do feel different when you come out of the water, and it just walking on the ice in bare feet.
Yeah.
I've never
I don't
done
know
that.
I've never done that either.
Yeah. All right. Well, we did it, Tia. I'm really proud of you.
High five.
I'm
Oh my
so
goodness.
proud of you.
It's the hardest thing I've done this year.
Hey, and what is
It's
it,
only day
January 4th?
Yeah.
It's only up from here. I want to thank you so much for having us out today, teaching us a little bit about this. Again, we just got a very small snippet of what he covers in a Wim Hof workshop. Keep an eye on Train the Brain LLC for more workshops. I want to thank Randy for having us out to Shady Grove Farm. This is a beautiful site. It's a wonderful place to have a workshop. It's the setting here today with the snow, it's cold and it's windy, but I don't think we could have asked for a more beautiful day.
Seriously, and let's give it up for Tia and Elizabeth for coming out here and doing this and supporting me. It's trainthebrainllc.com. Thank you to Shady Grove Farm UP, Randy and Libby Buchler. We got an awesome instructor coming for these workshops this upcoming weekend. Noah Eubanks coming all the way from Germany. They're going to be awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough for showing us love and support. It's been awesome.
All right, we got to go.
you
We
so
want to thank you
much.
so
Yeah.
much for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody. We'll put all this online.
I know I looked miserable before, but I'm actually so giddy now.